Hello and welcome back to my channel Supercal Sunday. This week I've been getting on with this motorcycle tank and some motorcycle panels. It's a little job I've been getting on with for a friend of mine, and I just basically want to show you how I personally prep the panels before paint. So this job is a strictly mates rates job. My friend sent me some pictures of it, but unfortunately when I got the panels and the tank, as always, there was a lot more damage and work that needed to be done. Anyway, dents in the tank, so it's easy to just skim the lot, skim over all the dents, don't mess about, knock it back until it's all smooth. And remember, your filler is always going onto metal and not covering paint. And this is a filler that I use, so I just use this U-Pole Smooth. I'm finding it quite good. I've just recently gone onto this. I'm always trying different products just to try and stay ahead of the game. So yeah, did all the filler work with this U-Pole Smooth. And then I went over it with a U-Pole Dolphin Glaze stopper to get all the pinholes. Onto the plastics. So the plastics were all prepped up with a DA. I went over them with a 240 disc on the DA, did as much as I could with the DA, and then I finished off the rest of it by hand. Just used the disc to get in where I could by hand. And then the tricky areas, I used a red Scotch pad. So these red Scotch pads are really good to get in all the knots and crannies, and in general they're just really good to finish off with. And then when I've done that, what I like to do last before I prime the panels is I like to wet flat them. So I use an 800 wet or dry. I just go over all the plastics, and this is to get rid of any bobbling or any pulls in the plastic, because as you might know, if some of you have done it before, if some of you have prepped plastics before, you can sometimes get that bobbling and that pulling and other sort of marks in the plastic. So this just sort of gets rid of that before I prime them. So back to the tank, we've got all the filler work done. It's ready to be primed, and I'm just going to dust over with an etch primer. So this is a MIPA aerosol etch primer. And I'm just going to dust over all those bare metal areas before I prime with a high build primer. So I've just given that tank a good wash coat of etch primer, and next I'm going to show you the process of what I do with the plastics. So onto the plastics, I give them a dust over with this plastic primer, so this helps the high build primer stick to them. So with the plastics being flexible like they are, it's crucial that you use this as an adhesion promoter. So again, just give the panels a good dusting with this. Just one coat over all of them will do. Make sure you get in all the areas, like your bits where your bolts fasten in, around the edges and things like that. With that done, it's now time to put some primer on. So this is a Roberlo 2K primer. It's a high build. So it's called a Multi-Filler Express MEO, and this is it in the tin for anyone that wants to see. And I think including the hardener you get about 5 litres with it mixed. So I'm applying this primer with an Anis Diawata gun, and it's got a 1.8 tip. So on something like this I generally put 2 or 3 coats on. That's enough to cover any imperfections. But for the best result, we all know you don't want to have any imperfections in any of the repairs to start with. So ideally you want it to be finishing it off with something like a 180 and then going on to a 240, and if you can, a 320 before you prime it. So finishing off in a 180 and then a 240 is really ideal. Or a 320 would be even better. But to be honest, when I've knocked them down with a 240 and then I'll go over them and knock them down with 800, they're going to get painted with a thick 2K paint anyway, so it's going to be absolutely fine. And you'll notice in the video that I've got an air-fed mask on, so I always used to just use the cartridge ones, but now it's gone a bit beyond that. So I've been doing this job a lot of years now. My lungs, although checked, they're fine. It's more the fumes going to my head. I'm just absolutely sick of it, so I've decided that from now on I'm just going to wear an air-fed mask. So I have 2 compressors for this. I have one outside that's connected up to my mask, and then I've got one in the back room which I run the gun off, and I'll do a video on that soon because it's a new compressor and it is really, really good. So I'll do a video on that and show you it. So that's them panels now all in primer. and I'll do another video soon of prepping up all those panels and the tank and getting them into paint. So these panels are off a Yamaha DT125. Can you guess what colour it's going to be? I'd be interested to see your answers in the comments.